A massive shout out to the Jonin tier member Mr. Leroy 1998 and Jenin tier Leah Rov. Your support means a lot. If you would like your name mentioned in every video, as well as receive special perks and soon having early access to new series, consider becoming a member of this channel by hitting that join button. There's a rumor going around. If you like this video and subscribe, you will be reincarnated as a slime if you become Rimuru Tempest. Hi guys, this is the next part of What If Naruto Was Half Soul Reaper and Half Quincy. I hope you enjoy. Hello everyone, I hope you like this chapter. Oh, and Naruto's Zanpakuto is like Ichigo's, it's wrapped up in white cloth. Chapter 6. Naruto is back in his body, walking back with Nozomi, Ichigo in Soul Reaper form, and Kon to Urahara's place. Ichigo, are you alright? Orihime says, walking towards them worriedly. Yeah, Orihime, more or less. How are the others? Ichigo says, and Tessai answers. We have brought them here and have already begun treatment, Tessai says. I see, glad to hear it, Ichigo says. Hey, if it's not any trouble, can you check Nozomi for any injuries? Naruto said, pointing to her, surprising her. Kon walks to Nozomi. What's up, Nozomi, you okay? Kon says, patting her leg, and gets kicked in the face. Pervert, Nozomi says, but this time it's different. Naruto notices it, she's showing more emotion now. Nozomi has her arms crossed over her chest area. Glad you're feeling better, Kon says. What's he playing at? Ichigo says, and Nozomi turns to him with a light blush. You're just like each other. Mega perverts, Nozomi says, looking around uncomfortable. Ichigo picks Kon up and points at him. I am nothing like this thing, Ichigo says, and Kin kicks him in the face. Right back atcha. Kon yells, and Ichigo throws punch, but Kon is dodging them. I'm not a closet oververt like Ichigo, Kon yells, punching Ichigo, and then was grabbed by him and then stretched. Why, you, Ichigo says, pissed off. Hey, Naruto laughs a little, seeing Nozomi's expression. Them fighting isn't that funny, Nozomi says, and Naruto stops and smiles at Nozomi with that famous smile. You're showing more emotion. Congratulations, Naruto says, hugging her. Nozomi is surprised at this and starts to get sleepy from the warmth of Naruto, and Naruto closes his eyes. Both are oblivious that Ichigo almost falls to the ground, but Orihime catches him. Guys, you can stop hugging, Kon says, and both blush red and let go. Let me heal you up, Orihime says, helping Ichigo up. It's no big deal, Ichigo says with his eyes closed. You mean that? Someone said, and Ichigo's eyes widen. Before he can utter a single word, he was kicked in the face, making him slide to the wall. Kurosaki, Orihime says worriedly. Ichigo is twitching on the ground with a show mark on his face. Is he dead? Kon yells, and Naruto stomps on his head. If he was dead, he wouldn't be twitching, you idiot. Naruto yells at Kon for his stupidity and turns, then smiles, seeing Kenpachi Zaraki going flying from a teensy kick like that. You call that no big deal, Kenpachi says, smiling. Ichigo sits up, holding his head. Anyone'd go flying if you kicked them from behind. All of a sudden, Ichigo yells, standing up, and stands in front of Kenpachi, pointing at him. And anyway, weren't you supposed to have gone to Soul Society? Ichigo yells at Kenpachi. He has a point. Why are you still here? Naruto said, looking at Kenpachi. I'm on my way now, Kenpachi said, and Naruto notices something. Then for about I come, Ichigo is cut off by Naruto hitting him in the back of the head. Ow! Ichigo yells in pain. Forget it, you'd just be going to your death the way you are now, Kenpachi says. Whatever, Ikigi said, make sure you don't die, I still want to fight you, Naruto says, and Kenpachi is a little surprised when he said that and then smiles. Yakiru then appears on Kenpachi's back. Don't worry, Ken can die, Yakiru says happily. Stay out of this, Yakiru, Kenpachi says, looking at Yakiru. Shan't, right, Ichi and Fishcake, Yakiru says, and Naruto's eyes twitch at the remark. Ichigo chuckles at that, but was silenced by Naruto punching him in the face, sending him rolling away. Relax, until I get to fight you again, I ain't planning on getting killed or dying or whatever, Kenpachi said. Okay, you better go now, Naruto said, and Kenpachi starts walking to the house. See you around, Naruto, Kenpachi says. Yakiru, Naruto said, and Yakiru looks back at Naruto and jumps off of Kenpachi's back and runs to Naruto. Yeah, Fishcake, Yakiru says, and Naruto signs. Be careful and root Kenpachi on. I got a feeling he will have one hell of a fight in there. Just remember, Don't let him die, Naruto said, and Yakira nods. Naruto ruffles her hair and she smiles. Now go, Naruto said, and she nods and runs in the house. Well, that was sweet of you, Nozomi says, and Naruto blushes and rubs the back of his head sheepishly. Naruto looks to where Kenpachi's disappeared. Kenpachi's Zanpakuto isn't like anything I've seen before, Naruto said, surprising her. What do you mean? She says, and Naruto looks at the sky. Every battle he's been in he's gotten a little stronger. It's like he hasn't awoken yet, but that's not it. His Zanpakuto, it's not like anything I've seen before, Naruto said, feeling the sword's power. If he were to finally hear his Zanpakuto, I would be frightened by his power the way I am right now. But I would want to fight him even more then. We are alike, him and I, both of us love to fight, Naruto said, surprising her. Time skip. Naruto is sitting next to Nozomi, who's laying her head on Naruto's shoulder. Naruto smiles seeing Nozomi sleeping peacefully. Ichigo, Chad, Kon, Orihime and Ryu are watching over Rukia, Rangaku and Nemu sleeping. Urahara walks in. Urahara, Ichigo said, seeing him and drawing their attention. It would seem that, apart from Captain Konomura, they have all arrived in Soul Society, Urahara says. You know what's happening in Soul Society? Ryu says questionably. It bothered me that we were totally in the dark when it came to understanding the situation over there. So I implanted a transmitter device of sorts in each of the captains, Urahara said. Ichigo stands up. Urahara, would you mind sending me to Soul Society after all? Ichigo says, and Naruto shakes his head for Ichigo's stupidity. Nozomi starts to stir and wakes up. Welcome back, Sleeping Beauty, Naruto said, and Nozomi looks away with a small smile. Naruto and Nozomi start paying attention to the conversation. I'll fight too, Ichigo said, wanting to fight. Hold on, just let those guys take care of things over there. And just look at this. All our ladies have been taken out, and the guys are no use at all. All we've got are a useless guy, 2 Soul Reapers and 4 eyes. We're almost out of guys who can really put up a fight, so if you go, what happens when this place gets attacked? Kon says, and jumps on Ichigo's Shihakusho. Don't forget what I said, Kon. I can protect Nozomi, Naruto says angrily, standing up and knowing that Kon is forgetting how powerful he is. I also heard you want to protect Nozomi. You said Age was your friend, Kon says. Besides, Ichigo, you shouldn't push yourself too hard right now, Orihime says. That's right, listen to Orihime, shut up and stay here like a good boy, Kon yells. Can I ask something? Nozomi says, standing behind Naruto and gaining all their attention. What is it? Ichigo said. Why are you trying to protect me? What does it all mean to you? Nozomi said. Well, the thing about that is, Kon says, sweating, and starts speaking quietly. Dunno, Ichigo says, surprising Nozomi. I don't really get it either, Ichigo says, and Kon jumps off of Ichigo. It's more like, at the start, rather than trying to protect you, I was trying to protect my friends in the human world, and I figured I had to get you away from Kujaroza to do that, Ichigo says. Then why? Nozomi looks at Naruto, already knowing his reason. I didn't want to lose you, that's my reason, Naruto said, looking out the window. What I do get is if you're caught by Kujaroza, there'll be a whole load of trouble. Didn't try to do it all on your own. Because you're not, Ichigo says, the last part smiling. I'm not on my own, Nozomi says to herself, and Naruto smiles like the others while Ryu pushed his glasses up. Suddenly Nozomi sees images and she gasps. Hey, Naruto said, shacking Nozomi, and she comes back to reality. You okay? Naruto said, seeing the look of concern on her face. Nothing, Nozomi says, and Naruto starts to get worried for her. Anyway, I don't know why I want to protect you. But I did hear it loud and clear. A voice saying I had to protect you, Ichigo says, and Nozomi blushes. What are you, a moron? Nozomi says. He's a pervert and a moron, Naruto says, and Ichigo glares at him. Is this really the time to call me a pervert and a moron? Ichigo said. Nozomi looks away, still blushing. You didn't hear any voice like that, Nozomi says quietly. Don't say that, Ichigo said. Nozomi smiles and laughs a little. This guy really is a moron, Nozomi says, smiling, and Ichigo smirks. Don't call me this guy, call me Ichigo, Ichigo says, and Nozomi steps forward and puts her hand on the center Ichigo's chest. I should be able to get some of your Reiatsu back, Nozomi says, and her hand glows light green. That's a form of Kido, isn't it? Urahara says surprised. You can do stuff like that, kid, Ichigo says. Don't call me, kid. Call me Nozomi Kuju, Nozomi says smiling. Yeah, I hear ya, Ichigo says. Naruto smiles. Time skip. Nozomi finally finished. That should get you a little of your Reiatsu back, Nozomi says. Whoa, this is like back when Unohana healed me, Ichigo says looking at himself. For real? Kan says, and Nozomi falls backwards, which Naruto catches her and lifts her up bridal style. Are you okay? Orihime says worried. I'm fine, Nozomi says. You've probably put a lot of strain on your body by trying to use your Soul Reaper powers for the first time in a while, Oryu said. Naruto lets her down and sees the look in Urahara's eyes, which makes his eyes narrow. Urahara, Ichigo says, gaining his attention. Why yes, Urahara said. I'm ready to go, Ichigo said. But, Urahara says, trying to find the words to stop Ichigo from chiding to go. If I just wait around like this, it's only a matter of time before my spiritual powers vanish. So in better off taking them all down in one last stand now, Ichigo said. Ichigo, you fool, Kan says on Ichigo's shoulder. Try to understand, Kan, Ichigo said. The hell I will, Kan yells, and Naruto holds Nozomi's hand. Come on, you should rest, Naruto said, leading her to another room. I'll let you have an hour of rest, Naruto said, and Nozomi sits down but won't let go of Naruto's hand. Can you? Lay with me, Nozomi says, and Naruto blushes redder than a tomato. Why yeah sure, Naruto said, lying next to Nozomi, and she lays her head on his chest. Naruto swallows and wraps his arms around Nozomi. I will always protect you, Nozomi, Naruto said quietly, and Nozomi has a small smile. Time skip. Naruto yawns, waking to see a sleeping Nozomi on his chest, and smiles. You awake? Naruto said, and Nozomi's eyes start to open. Both smile at each other and then both start to lean into each other. An inch before they can kiss. Wake up! Kan yells, entering the room, and both stop and glare at Kan. Wah! Kan is stopped by two fists punching him in the face, sending him crashing into the wall. What is it, Kan? Naruto yells at him. Ichigo's has vanished, Kan says, shocking them. What? Naruto said, not understanding it. Time skip. 2 minutes later. Are you sure? Naruto says, shocked of what he heard. Yes, Kurosaki's Reiatsu has completely vs Nishid, Urahara said. He isn't dead, Naruto says, surprising them. How do you know? Urahara said. Naruto closes his eyes. Urahara's eyes widen, feeling something weird coming from Naruto. His Zanpakuto is responding to Naruto. I can feel Zangetsu. He's still alive, as well as Kenpachi, Byakuya, Komamura, Toshiro, and head captain Yamamoto, Naruto says, shocking them. I could go further, but I don't want to strain my abilities, Naruto said. That's impossible. How can you sense then from that far away? Urahara says, shocked, never seeing this ability before. I can't sense them, but I can sense their Zanpakuto. It's like I have a connection with all of the Zanpakuto. It's really weird, Naruto said, looking down, not knowing of his heritage. I can feel Zangetsu, but Ichigo I can't feel. I don't know how Ichigo could suddenly disappear, Naruto said. This is very bad. The captains who went in first only made it out by the skin of their teeth too, Urahara says, not knowing what happened. Can you get any response from Ichigo? Chad said, and Urahara shakes his head. No, none at all, Urahara said. So you're saying Ichigo is, Orihime says, not wanting to believe Ichigo is dead. The last signal from him came from Severed World, with the capturing ram approaching. We are forced to assume that it engulfed him, Urahara says, not wishing for this to be true. Engulfed him? Orihime says. It can't be, Rukia said, not believing it. The others don't say a word. No. Nozomi says, drawing their attention. Nozomi has her head down with her hair shadowing her eyes with her arms crossed. After all he's done, Nozomi says, hearing from Naruto of all people Ichigo fought for and how he used the final Getsuga Tensho and how he fought Kujaroza to protect her. It's my fault, Nozomi says, blaming herself, and Orihime walks to her. Nozomi, Orihime says, about to put an arm on her shoulder when Nozomi knocks it away. Don't, Nozomi yells and falls to her knees, closing her eyes. He's still alive, Naruto said, making her open her eyes, surprised. After all the things Ichigo has done, he can't just die like that. Anyways, if I can sense his Zanpakuto, then he must be still alive. If the Soul Reaper dies, so does his Zanpakuto, Naruto says, smiling at her, trying to cheer her up. She just stares at him along with everyone else. Naruto starts to sweat. This is feeling awkward now, Naruto thinks. You're completely right. Kurosaki's not the type to die that easily, Ryu says. Yeah, besides, Ichigo is doing this of his own free will. You're not responsible for him, Chad said, nodding, agreeing with Ryu. Nozomi, it's all true. So don't blame yourself, Orihime says. Nozomi, Ichigo sucks, but he always keeps his promises. So have faith in him, and just wait, Kan says, and Nozomi stares at Kan. What, you're staring at me? Kan says, a little freaked out. How can all of you have so much faith in him? You're always like this, Nozomi says, and Kan starts blushing. It's not like we believe in him or anything. We're not best buds or whatever, just an ordinary master, and, Kan says, walking backwards and trips on the steps. Naruto puts a hand on Nozomi's shoulder, drawing her attention. Naruto smiles, and so does everyone else. Yes, Nozomi says with her own smile now. Things are looking pretty bad, though. We should head to Soul Society as well, Chad said. Now that really is worrying too much, Rukia said. Yeah, don't take out captains lightly, Renji said. Time skip Utahans is checking on his computer screen, scanning the last place Ichigo disappeared at, trying to find him. Any luck? Rukia said. As I expected, I still can't get a reading on Kurosaki's at all, Urahara said. Then where is he? Did he transport to somewhere you don't know about? Naruto said. Most likely, Urahara said, and they're all quiet for a few seconds. Relax, guys, there's no way that dumbass Ichigo is gone. I just know he's gonna show up right when we least expect him. Right, Kan says, trying to cheer everyone up. Didn't try and push it, Kan, Rukia says, surprising him. Your tough act's pretty obvious. You're really the most worried one here, Renji says, smiling. Shut up, I'm totally not worried at all, and I'm definitely not acting. Kan yells, kicking Renji in the face, making him fall back, and jumps on him. Naruto sees Ryu giving Nozomi a stare. Ryu, cut it out, your stare is starting to get on my nerves, Naruto said. Ryu blinks. Oh, sorry, Ryu says. What secrets could she be hiding? Ryu thinks. 10 minutes later they hear a beeping and a red dot appears on the scanner. What is it? Rukia said, looking at Urahara. I've detected Kurosaki's Reiatsu, Urahara says. For real, where is he? Kan says worriedly. If you will, Abarai, Urahara says, standing up. Right, Renji says, standing up as well. All right, let's go, Kan says. Rukia, Ryu, Chad, Urahara, Renji and Kan leave the room. Orihime walks up to Nozomi. You too, Nozomi, Orihime says and smiles. Nozomi also smiles. She nods. Let's go, Naruto said, taking Nozomi's hand and starts walking too. Time skip Ichigo finally wakes up. Who's there? Ichigo yells. Ichigo sees everyone there looking at him. Huh, he says, and Naruto hits Ichigo in the head, making him grunt in pain. You're too loud, Naruto said, annoyed, and smiles. Ichigo, Orihime says happily. You guys, wait, died that mean I'm in the human world? Ichigo says. Yes, you are, Rukia said. The door opens and Naruto looks and smiles happily, seeing Nozomi. Hey Nozomi, look, Ichigo is awake, Naruto says, smiling. It seems you're finally awake, Kurosaki, Urahara said, smiling. Urahara, Nozomi, Ichigo says, and Nozomi had a sad look on her face and not looking at Ichigo. Weren't you supposed to defeat Kujaroza? Nozomi said. Huh, Ichigo says. Wait, he was fighting Kujaroza. Why hadn't anyone told me? Naruto yells and looks angrily at Urahara, who's looking away, whistling. Weren't you supposed to get it done quickly and come back to us? Nozomi says, and Ichigo looks down, depressed. Sorry, Ichigo says. I told you to come back safely, Nozomi says with tears in her eyes, and Naruto sighs. Quit nagging me, I made it back, at any rate, Ichigo says, and remembers something. Oh yeah, Renji, were you the one who saved me from the capturing ram? Ichigo says. Huh, I just found you collapsed in the severed world and brought you back here, Renji said, not knowing what went on in the severed world. So, Kurosaki, it seems you really were engulfed by the capturing ram, Urahara says suddenly. Huh, do you know what happened to me, Urahara? Ichigo said. Well, sort of, but first, got about done tea, Urahara says. Ends. Naruto sees Nozomi grip her arm tighter. Time skip 20 minutes later. Those who find themselves far from the fixed sections of the severed world are lost for all eternity, ultimately doomed to be engulfed by the capturing ram or the capturing flow, and meet their death. Everyone knows that much. Naturally, there are a number of ways to escape the severed world, much as Kuratsuchi did. But it should not be possible to be saved being engulfed by the capturing ram. The war Kurosaki was, Urahara said. Then was I, Ichigo says, but is cut off by Urahara. I have no idea. At any rate, what happened to you is completely unprecedented. I will, of course, look into it, but I wouldn't expect any quick answers, Urahara said. Some big help you are, Khan says, annoyed. However, I have discovered the reason for Kujaroza's obsession with the severed world, Urahara said. His reason? Naruto said, eating to now. Yes, he has been researching ways to manipulate and utilize the severed world, it's true, but that is not his true goal, Urahara said. What do you mean? Rukia said. Basically, he is studying the severed world for a separate reason. He seeks to obtain a certain piece of information concealed within it, Urahara says. Time skip, Mod Souls, Naruto said. Precisely. Kujaroza's motive for research on the severed world is to retrieve information on Mod Souls which is concealed within, Urahara says, and Khan points at himself. What's a Mod Soul? Naruto said, questioningly, never hearing this word before. I know, Khan says. Allow me to explain. A long time ago, something called Project Spearhead took place in Soul Society, Rukia says, and starts to draw. Humans who lost their souls at death were to be injected with artificial souls specially designed for combat, and those souls would be used as an anti-hollow vanguard, Rukia says, showing her drawing in Naruto's sweet drops along with Ichigo. Haven't seen those crappy drawings in a while, Ikigi says, and Naruto chuckles a little. Crappy what? Rukia says, looking at then, and Kin walks in front of Rukia. Now, just let it go, Khan says. Art school reject, Nozomi says, and Naruto laughs. Ichigo is surprised and Khan is sweating while Rukia's hair is shadowing her eyes. No, Khan says, and Rukia whacks Naruto, Ichigo and Khan on the head. The project proposal was quickly rejected. That is how the development of the Mod Souls came to pass, Rukia said. Khan is a Mod Soul that survived, Ichigo says, and Khan falls to the ground due to the hit on the head from Rukia. But how did you know that Mod Soul data hidden in the severed world? Naruto says. By chance. When we were rescuing Kurosaki earlier, I sensed something strange about Sins if the spirit particles that had vaguely attached themselves to him. I analyzed them, and fragments of scientist Mod Soul development data emerged. Kujaroza must have used such data to create his captain-class Mod Souls, Urahara said, and the whole time they were taking the light was flickering and it finally turns off. It's true, Nozomi says, gaining their attention again, and she stands up. Nozomi, what are you talking about? Naruto said, and Nozomi doesn't look at Naruto but at the ground. You knew, didn't you, Kuju? Urahara says, and she nods. Kujaroza is the creator of the Mod Souls. When Project Spearhead was rejected, a ruling was made that all the Mod Souls, as well as the vast volume of research on the subject, would be destroyed. The Mod Souls I sense for, they would be cultivated from a few Soul Reaper spirit particles, and would inherit their memories and personalities as well as possessing superior abilities. The ability to freely wield the power of Mod Souls was judged to be a threat. Before they erased everything, he transformed his exhaustive research of the matter into a special type of spirit particle, and cast it deep into the severed world. And much later, in the process of studying the severed world, he extracted the data from the capturing ram, Nozomi said. Naruto is lost for words. So that's what happened, Urahara said, and Khan looks down and laughs a little. That's how it is. You mean we Mod Souls were created by that bastard? Khan yells angrily. Khan, Ichigo says. I see why Tit can't trust me if that's true, Khan says, and Nozomi gets closer to them. No, that's not true, Nozomi says. Then what is? You never told me any of this until now. Khan yells at Nozomi, pointing at her, and Naruto gets angry. Khan, shut up, Naruto yells angrily. I guess all I was to you in the end was another of Kujaroza's creations, Khan says. Kujaroza wasn't the one who created you, Nozomi says. How do you know? Khan yells. Well, Nozomi says, and her eyes widen, seeing memories. Well, Nozomi says, looking up. The very first mod soul. That's who I am, Nozomi says, and Naruto's eyes widen all the way and is shocked to the core. Naruto and Kon are outside Ichigo's house not saying a word, both looking sad and lost in thought. Kon is using Ichigo's body so he can take a walk. Hey, Orihime says, walking with Chad towards them, and both look up with little surprise. Orihime, Chad, Kon says, what are you two up to? Chad said, and Naruto walks past them with his hands in his pockets. It's nothing. Come on Kon, let's go, Naruto said, and Kon follows Naruto. Naruto stops. Nozomi is in the house. She must be bored, so keep her company, Naruto said, and keeps on walking. 10 minutes later, both are walking through town. Please take one, it's part of our promotion, a woman says, holding sign kind of lion stuffed animal. Kon takes one and turns to see that Naruto is gone. Graveyard. Hey mom, hey dad, it's been a while since I last came here. Sorry about not eating vegetables or going to bed on time. But that isn't why I'm here. I couldn't defeat Aizen. Dad, you trained me to defeat him, but in the end, he killed you and he beat me. Ichigo defeated him, soon he will lose his Soul Reaper powers. I'm sorry Dad that I couldn't use that move, it was too dangerous and could have killed a lot of Peo Naruto. Naruto is cut off by someone saying his name and turns to see Ichigo. Naruto looks away. I heard what you said, it isn't your fault, I chose to do this on my own, so stop blaming yourself, and talk to Nozomi. I saw the way you look at her, Ikigi says with a smile, and Naruto turns away and starts walking away. Time skip back at the house. Naruto and Kon are currently in Ichigo's room. He's on Ichigo's bed looking at the ceiling, showing no emotion. What Nozomi said keeps replying in his head over and over again. Naruto's right hand touches his face. She doesn't even trust me. She must not like me, Naruto thinks sadly. You know King, you shouldn't think too much of that, Hollow, Naruto said inside Naruto's head. Mindscape, what is it, Hollow? Naruto said, turning to him. He's smiling. I've been watching what's been happening, but when that girl revealed to you that she was a mod soul, your love for her didn't change, Hollow, Naruto said, looking at the cloudy sky with a frown, and it starts raining. If she couldn't even tell me that, she must hate me or something. She doesn't trust me, Naruto said, and Hollow, Naruto grabs him by his robe angrily and punches him in the face. Naruto falls to the ground looking at Hollow, Naruto shocked. You're showing weakness, your heart is shaking. Stop thinking of the negatives. You're just making me stronger and it'll be safe to take over. Think in her point of view. She may have just remembered from the look in her eyes, or she might have not said it because it might make you not like her. Hollow, Naruto yells and grabs Naruto by the robe, picking him up and slams him against a tree. You keep crushing about what she thinks of you. Your sadness is making this place rain and like rage, and I hate the rain, Hollow, Naruto says angrily, and drops Naruto, who slides down against the tree looking at Hollow, Naruto surprised from what he said. Naruto looks down and closes his eyes, remembering the moments he had with Nozomi. It's finally stood raining and the sky starts to clear up. Hollow, Naruto looks at the sky surprised. Well, that was fast, Hollow, Naruto said, and looks down at Naruto. Naruto opens his eyes and looks up with determination in his eyes. He stands up and afraid, walking away. Thank you, Naruto, Naruto said, leaving. Out of Mindscape. Naruto's eyes opens and he smiles. The door opens and both sit up, seeing Nozomi. She looks surprised and looks down. Yo, Kon says, not meeting her gaze. Yeah, Nozomi says. Nozomi, come on, Yuzu yells from downstairs. They're calling you, Kon says. Nozomi takes a few steps back. She turns and walks away. Naruto stands up and walks to the door and turns to Kon. Don't blame her, imagine it from her point of view, Naruto said, and leaves the room while shutting the door behind him. Nozomi, wait up, Naruto says, and Nozomi turns and her eyes widen from Naruto hugging her. I'm sorry for ignoring you, it's just I couldn't explain how I felt from your words. Even if you're a mod soul, I don't care, Naruto said, and Nozomi looks at Naruto with tears in her eyes, and Naruto smiles. I love you, Naruto says, and Nozomi makes her move, capturing Naruto's lips. Naruto is shocked from this, but then forgets about it and deepens the kiss. Naruto wraps his arms around Nozomi while Nozomi wraps her arms around his neck. After 30 seconds of kissing, they hear a click and see a small flash of light. Both turn to see Yuzu smiling and holding a camera. Naruto then laughs a little, stops hugging Nozomi, and wraps his right arm around her neck. Take a normal picture for one, okay, Naruto says smiling. Nozomi is also smiling. Yuzu takes another picture smiling. Time skip. Naruto is at the dinner table with Kon in Ichigo's body. Orihime, Nozomi, Rukia, Ishida and Chad are also at the table while Karen and Yuzu are sitting on the couch. This is delicious. Really delicious, Orihime, such food, you're a genius. Kon yells and takes another bite but then stands up choking on the food. Oh crap. Naruto yells, staffing up and does the Heimlich maneuver. Kon coughs out the food on the ground. Naruto helps Kon sit back down and pats him in the back. He's okay, Naruto said, and both Yuzu and Karen sigh. First slow down, second don't talk while eating, Naruto says and sits back down. Nozomi smiles at Naruto. Naruto smiles back. Kon starts eating again like crazy, which results him getting hit in the head by Naruto. No life in them. Oh really? Ryu says, remembering what Ichigo said about Kon and Naruto looking like they have no life in them from what Nozomi said. Actually, this is new. Chad is cut off by Kon. Hey, Four Eyes, are you eating properly? You wouldn't be disrespecting Orihime's cooking, now would you? Hey, Nozomi, are you eating lots? If you find ear properly, you'll never grow up. Especially your breasts. Kon says, and Nozomi glares at him holding her chopsticks like she's going to stab him. Ah, sorry, that was totally out of line, Kon says, and Naruto slams Shen with his chopsticks on Ichigo's hand, resulting him to yell in pain. Where's Ichigo? Naruto said, looking around. Time skip. Question her. What do you mean? Ichigo said, talking to Akaku, Renji and Yamchika. Why is Kujaroza so desperate to capture her? What is the nature of the threat? We should question her on preparation for the final battle with Kujaroza, didn't you think? Yamchika said. We don't know anywhere near enough about that kid, and neither do you. We can't let a lack of information lead to more victims, that's the gist of it, Akaku says. This isn't just our private opinion. We're speaking as the survivors of the Gote 13. Don't take it the wrong way, Renji says. You might be right, still, she's clearly got some stuff she's not ready to face. I'm going to protect her. Isn't that enough? Ichigo says, trying to convince them. Now's not the time for noble words like that. I'm sorry to say this, but the fact is that the invading army has fevers raided the Gote 13. That's the kind of enemy we're going to have to face in Karakura town. It might not be just you or us that get hurt, Akaku says, referring to the people who reside here. This is all quite ironic, though, Yamchika says, smiling to himself. Ironic? Ichigo said, not understanding. Project Spearhead was originally a plan meant to reduce Soul Reaper casualties, Yamchika said. But now, lots of us Soul Reaper have been injured and taken out to protect that mod Soul Kid. Ironic to say the least, Akaku said. That may be true, but now that they've been born into this world, don't those guys have the same right to live as the rest of us? Ichigo said. If it means sacrificing people, then no, Akaku stops and all of their eyes widen. Naruto is sitting outside the window hearing all they said. Naruto opens the window and jumps in. I'll say this once, anyone who tries to touch her, even comrades, I'll kill them, Naruto says with anger in his eyes, and outside the door is Nozomi hearing part of the conversation. Naruto, Nozomi thinks. Time skip. At night, Naruto is currently sleeping with Nozomi in the couch. Nozomi wakes up and gets off of the couch quietly. 10 minutes later, Naruto wakes up not feeling Nozomi laying with him on the couch. Naruto uses his badge and flash steps. 4 minutes later, Naruto finds them by sending a hollow. The hollow is about to attack Kon and Naruto is about to move to intercept when Nozomi stops him. Stop, Nozomi yells, drawing their attention, and she stands up. I want to protect people too. I want to be useful too. I want to help them all. Nozomi yells and a green light appears in front of her, taking the shape of a sword. Huh? Nozomi says. You've got one. Kon says, and the hollow swings his arm down aiming for Kon, but Nozomi blocks it with his Zanpakuto. Pink light then swirls around Nozomi and she then appears in her Soul Reaper form with her Zanpakuto glowing green. The hollow pulls back and Nozomi jumps up towards it and slashes, cutting its head in half and killing it. Awesome! Naruto yells, jumping down and drawing their attention. Naruto wraps his arms around Nozomi and spins her around and around. Yeah, you're a Soul Reaper, you finally awakened your Zanpakuto, Naruto says happily, and the whole time Nozomi is blushing while Kon is watching with jealousy. I've got one, Nozomi says, looking at her Zanpakuto. I thought you didn't have a Zanpakuto, Kan said. So did I. Nozomi says, sheathing it. Anyway, what are you doing wandering around so late at night? Kan says, and Nozomi sees Naruto giving her a glare and flicks her in the forehead. Ow. Nozomi says, touching her forehead. Don't ever do that again, okay, Naruto said, and she falls to her knees. I'm just a burden, Nozomi says, and Naruto bends down to her and puts her forehead to his, shocking her. Before you say anything, I know you want to start protecting people and I'm 100% behind you on that one, Naruto says, and Nozomi smiles and looks at Kan. When I felt I wanted to protect you, even I got a sword, Nozomi says, smiling, and Kan starts to laugh. What? Nozomi says. That's right, what was I worrying about? Why was I freaking out over what to say? Listen up, Nozomi, even if you're a mod soul, once you've been born, you've got to live on, Kan says, pointing at her. Yeah. Huh, Nozomi says, seeing that little stuffed animal hanging from Kan's arm. What's that doing there? Kan says. I recognize that, Nozomi says. Could it be that you want one? Well, you can face it, then, Kan says, and earns a smile from Naruto. Really? Nozomi says, hoping she can have the small animal. Yeah, except, it's defective. The name came off, Kan says. Huh, I thought it was a dog. Naruto says, forgetting about what Kin got from the women. Nozomi smiles. I prefer it that way, Nozomi says, and Kan hands it to her. She puts it in her Zanpakuto. That'll do, Nozomi says, smiling. Both Naruto and Kan laugh at this display. Man, you're such a kid, Kan says, laughing. Nozomi blushes in embarrassment. Shut up, perverts, Nozomi says angrily and still embarrassed. Ichigo's house. In Ichigo's room. According to Capitaine Unohana, before she escaped she saw Ryugai Castle amplify their combat abilities by easing the limiters in their wrists. In addition, it will take time for head captain to make a complete recovery. We are facing a grave situation, Nanao says. The enemy made it clear of their reason. Our only option is surely to place Nozomi Kuju in confinement somewhere far away while we prepare countermeasures, Shuhei says. For what they're worth, Izuru says. Could the captains really be dead after all? Marekio says, crying like a baby. Of course they ain't, Akaku says, annoyed by Marekio. Huh, Marekio says with greed in his eyes. There ain't no way in hell Captain Zaraki went down that easily, Akaku yells, holding Marekio's robes. But, if they're alive, then where? Marekio says. I'm gonna Rio your guys out, you piece of crap, Akaku yells, pissed off, and Nozomi stands. I'm going to fight, Nozomi says, drawing their attention. Nozomi, Naruto says worriedly. Now hang on, you might have your Zanpakuto back, but you're no match for that guy, Kan yells. Kujaroza's Zanpakuto has the power to record space and reconstruct it at will. But my Zanpakuto will be able to counter him, I think, Nozomi says, unsure. So what is your Zanpakuto's ability? Naruto said, wanting to know. I haven't regained all my memories back yet. But unsure of this, Nozomi says, determined. This is getting us nowhere. Maybe you can do it, and maybe you can't. We ain't betting our lives on crap like that, Akaku says, and Nozomi looks down sadly. Naruto starts to get angry. And why do we gotta protect her anyway? All we have to do is fight them and win. That's all it'll take, Akaku says, standing up and stares to walk away. Where are you going? Ichigo says. There's no point in taking about this anymore, Akaku says, leaving. That guy is a total asshole, Naruto says, and some of them nod. So what do we do? About the girl, I mean, Izuru said. Nozomi, given that you are their target and we don't know what your abilities are, we cannot allow you to fight, Nanao says. But my abilities it's real. I can almost remember my sword's name, Nozomi says, and looks down sadly. Let her do it, it's her life and not ours. I don't want Nozomi to go head first in battle, but I want to help her get stronger to protect people. So let her do it. Me and Ichigo talked an hour ago and decided he will help you wake up your Zanpakuto, Naruto says, and Ichigo nods. Time skip at the park. Naruto is in Soul Reaper form. Ichigo swings Zangetsu at Nozomi, which she dodges. Ryu then fires his arrows at Nozomi, which she blocks. Chad is running at Nozomi with his right arm transformed and swings his fist, and Nozomi blocks it. This isn't enough. Give me more, Nozomi says, then is pushed on the ground from Rukia's attack. Nozomi, Kan yells, running to her, and Nozomi stands up. This kind of special training is definitely way too much for you, Kon says. Get out of the way, pervert. This is the only way to awaken a dormant Zanpakuto, Nozomi says. You can say that all you like, but Kon is cut off by Nozomi. Shut up, Nozomi says, kicking Kon away. Naruto sighs watching Nozomi train. 10 minutes later, Nozomi is breathing tiredly with scratches on her face. Let's take a quick break, Ichigo said. I don't need one. Nozomi stops with Naruto picking her up bridal style. Don't complain, you can't keep reading like this over and over again. You'll tire yourself out, Naruto said, which he earns a glare from Nozomi. Naruto puts Nozomi down. Splash some water in your face to cool down, Naruto says, smiling. 2 minutes later, Nozomi finally got done splashing water on her face. You think you can get through this by putting in a brave face, Akaku says behind Nozomi, drawing her attention. Stop it, if you keep this up, you're just gonna hurt yourself, Akaku said. What, I'm still, Nozomi is cut off by Akaku. I ain't denying you've got some power to you. But that ain't enough to survive a real battle. Even if you get all your power back, you're just going to die, Akaku says, and Nozomi looks away. I was planning to die, Nozomi says, and Akaku shows little surprise. But someone told me to live. I've listened to your words. This time it'd my turn to save lives. If that's what it takes, I'll gladly die fighting, Nozomi says, and Ikaku's eyes widen, remembering the past when he met Kenpachi. I only got one wish. To die fighting under that man. Nothing else. Ikaku's flashback thoughts end. You idiot, Akaku says, turning around. I don't cafe if it's about saving your own life or somebody else's, but if you're not prepared to give as good as you get, it doesn't matter whose words you've been listening to, Akaku says, walking away. 3 minutes later, let's go, Ichigo says, ready for more training. Bring it on, Nozomi says, and they all feel spiritual pressure. What is this Reiatsu? Ichigo says, and Naruto looks up at the sky, which starts to crack. Renji appears. We're under attack. Apparently, the Raigai have fallen for Urahara's trap in the severed world, Renji said. What? Rukia says, but Nozomi hadn't regained her Shikai yet, Ichigo says, and the sky cracks more. Whatever, let's get her somewhere safe, Renji says. No, let's keep going, Ichigo, Nozomi says. Do you even understand what's going on? Renji said. If the Raigai are here, nowhere is safe. I need to get my Shikai back as soon as possible, Nozomi says. Okay, be careful, from this Reiatsu there's no doubt that Raigai Kenpachi is coming, so I'll take him in on, Naruto said, walking away, and takes out Raijin. Nozomi, be careful, Ichigo, I trust you can protect her, Naruto says, and Ichigo nods. Then Naruto flash steps away. The sky finally breaks. Where Reigai Kenpachi is, looks like I got here first. Huh? Kenpachi says, and Naruto flash steps in front of him and swings his sword, creating a small dust cloud, but Kenpachi blocked it easily. Kenpachi pushes Naruto back with his spiritual energy. Are you gonna fight me? Kenpachi says, raising his blade. What's it look like to you? I'm attacking you, aren't I? Naruto says with a determined look on his face. Kenpachi smiles more and releases more spiritual pressure. So I was right, he's stronger than Kenpachi, Naruto thinks, and Iba flash steps behind him with the other vice captains as well. We'll back you up, Shuhei says. Don't even think about it. You guys won't last long against him, Naruto said. You think you can take him on by yourself, Rangaku says. You guys need to help the others. There are more captains coming as well, Naruto said. What? Shuhei says, and they feel spiritual pressure. The sky cracks in multiple places. More Raigai. Iba says, feeling multiple captain class spiritual pressure. They're coming, Shuhei says, growing his Zanpakuto along with the others. Leave now and get ready for the rest. Akaku, I don't care what you say, he's mine, Naruto says, and Akaku sighs in jealousy. Fine, but don't die, Naruto. Kenpachi still wants to fight you, Akaku says, and the flash step away. Naruto points Raijin at Kenpachi. Now let us begin, Naruto says. You don't stand a chance against me, Kenpachi says with his eyes glowing bright blue, and swings his sword down, sending a wave of spiritual pressure at Naruto. Naruto blocks but begins to slide back. Naruto swings Raijin, canceling the attack. Hey, you're still standing, Kenpachi says, smiling, and Naruto changes. Shut up, you have Kenpachi memories, so you know that your attacks won't take me down that easily, Naruto yells and swings his blade connecting with Kenpachi's. Is that it? Kenpachi says and swings his Zanpakuto pushing Naruto back. I'm stronger than Kenpachi. Kenpachi yells swinging his blade and Naruto slides back. Naruto looks up and Kenpachi is above him heading towards him. Kenpachi then swings his blade. Kaminari Shiryo. Naruto yells swinging and sends a yellow lightning wave at Kenpachi, then both attacks connect making an explosion. Both jump away from each other. Use Bankai. Kenpachi yells changing straight at Naruto and both swing. Their blades stay connected but Kenpachi begins to push Naruto back. Come on, go Bankai, you can't win. Kenpachi yells wanting a real fight. If that's what you want, fine then, Naruto says, and black lightning is coming off of Naruto which his smile widens. Bankai. Naruto yells and explodes with black lightning coming from him. The lightning stops and recedes back into Naruto. Tensa Raijin. Naruto says pointing his sword at Kenpachi. Alright, let's see if this is enough to stop me, Kenpachi says, and Naruto flash steps before him and swings, but this time neither are being pushed back. Naruto unleashes a combo of attacks on Kenpachi which he blocks but with difficulty. The last attack pushes both back. Ahahaha, now this is more like it, Kenpachi says, enjoying this fight. Keep on laughing, because it won't last long, Naruto says seriously. Huh? Kenpachi says, not getting it. Naruto's Zanpakuto starts to spark with black lightning. Naruto raises the sword. Try and block this. Kaminari Shiryo. Naruto yells swinging his blade sending a huge black lightning wave at Kenpachi who's smiling. This is more like it. Kenpachi yells and the attack connects with his Zanpakuto. Kenpachi begins to be pushed back but the power makes Kenpachi's eye patch fly off and he releases his full power making Naruto's eyes widen, feeling his power increase further than Kenpachi's. The amount of spiritual pressure Kenpachi's releases counters Kaminari Shiryo. Ahahahaha, come on, keep fighting me. Show me more. Kenpachi yells and charges and swings his blade. Both connect but then Kenpachi sends a barrage of attacks at Naruto forcing him to take steps back. Kenpachi swings his Zanpakuto pushing Naruto's out of the way and raises his sword. Nothing to block my attack now. Kenpachi yells and swings down. But something happens and Naruto flash steps behind Kenpachi making his eyes widen but then smiles, feeling hollow spiritual pressure. Kenpachi turns and his smile widens, seeing a hollow mask on Naruto's face. Now let's really fight. Kenpachi yells and both swing their Zanpakutos and they connect, creating a creator between them. Now this is what I'm talking about. Kenpachi yells and both start to push the blades against each other more and cracks form in between them. Both jump back and raise their blades, focusing the power into the Zanpakutos. Kaminari Shiryo. Naruto yells swings his blade sending an even bigger wave at Kenpachi while he sends his own wave of spiritual pressure at Naruto's wave. Both the same size and connect, creating an explosion drawing everyone's attention. This is the most fun I've ever had. Kenpachi yells and both get ready to continue their fight. No, Nozomi yells, drawing their attention, and Naruto's mask breaks into pieces. Nozomi, what are you doing here? Naruto yells, concerned for her. Huh, what's this? Did you come to give yourself up? Kenpachi says, turning to her while smiling. Like hell, Nozomi yells and releases light green spiritual pressure. Deluge, Arizome Shigur, Nozomi yells, raising her sword in the air. Looks like fun. Kenpachi yells happily and Nozomi swings down, sending a pink wave at Kenpachi, making his eyes widen. Kenpachi is hit by the attack, causing an explosion. Holy, Naruto thinks. Shit. Hollow Naruto says inside Naruto's head. His come, she was able to do that and you can't. Hollow Naruto yells and artists laughing, making Naruto eyes twitch mentally. You got one hell of a girlfriend. I like her. Hollow Naruto says and Naruto blushes. Everyone saw the explosion. Ichigo is running towards Nozomi. Are you okay, Nozomi? Ichigo yells and stops in front of her and she turns to him. I'm fine, Nozomi says, and her eyes close and falls backwards, which Naruto flash steps behind her and stops her from falling. You sure didn't look fine to me, Naruto says, concerned, and Nozomi shakes him off and stands up straight. Shut up, I'm just a little dizzy, Nozomi says, and Naruto gives her a bored look. You know you're a bad leer, right? Naruto says and looks at her Zanpakuto. Still, that Zanpakuto of yours, how the heck did it do that? Naruto said, wondering what that was. It absorbs the opponent's strength, makes it its own and fires it back at them. That is Arizone Shigeru's power, Nozomi says. Awesome, but now isn't the time to celebrate. Run now, Naruto says, and both look at him in surprise. Naruto puts on his hollow mask and looks where Kenpachi is under all the wreckage from the attack. They all feel spiritual pressure. They all turn seeing Kenpachi standing and smiling covered in spiritual pressure. Ahahaha, nice one, girl, you got my attention, I'm gonna fight you next, Kenpachi says, and Nozomi raises her sword defensively, but Naruto flash steps in front of her. Kenpachi isn't the one you would want to keep using your ability on. He has a massive power and he can soon overpower you and take you down, leave now. Naruto says and changes at Kenpachi. Naruto, wait, Nozomi says worriedly, but Naruto isn't responding and he starts to clash with Kenpachi again. Alright, I'll finish the fight with you. In return, come at me with all you've got, Kenpachi says, and Naruto shakes his head, surprising him. If I went all out, the people that reside here would be in danger. The only time I went out was against Aizen and I had to be extra careful not to let my attacks become too huge, Naruto says, and flash steps around Kenpachi and swings his blade, forcing Kenpachi a few steps back, but Kenpachi swings his blade hard, forcing Naruto to move back. Naruto looks and smiles seeing Nozomi and Ichigo are gone. Time skip 20 minutes later. Naruto and Kenpachi are still fighting. Naruto is a little tired but can still go on longer while Kenpachi is smiling with a few injuries on his body like Naruto. Naruto hears running and looks to see Nozomi and Ichigo are back. Pay attention, Kenpachi yells in front of Naruto and he swings his blade, slashing Naruto's shoulder. Naruto, Nozomi yells worriedly for Naruto and starts to run towards him. Stay back, Naruto yells, and Kenpachi is walking towards him still smiling. You done yet? Kenpachi yells and Naruto changes and swings. Kenpachi blocks it and their swords are connecting. Kaminari Shiryu, Naruto yells and their swords are still connected, making Kenpachi's eyes widen, and Naruto unleashes the attack, making an explosion, and both Nozomi and Ichigo shield their eyes. When they open them they see Kenpachi and Naruto facing each other. Both staring at each other. All of you should hang up on me. It'll be more fun that way, Kenpachi yells smiling. I'm not, don't yet, Naruto yells and reels more spiritual pressure. Naruto flash steps in front of Kenpachi and swings. Kenpachi blocks it again. That won't work, Kenpachi says, getting bored of the same pattern, but something catches his eye. It's a yellow ball in Naruto's left hand. Naruto points it at Kenpachi, making his eyes widen. Sero, Naruto says, and Kenpachi is consumed by the yellow beam. Naruto falls to one knee and his mask finally starts to crack. The smoke clears, showing Kenpachi bleeding badly. Let's keep fighting, Kenpachi says smiling, and Naruto stands up and points his blade at Kenpachi. Bring it, Naruto says, then his eyes widen seeing Son of the vice captains defeated. Naruto looks to see Toshiro and Byakuya. Hey you, are you still playing games? I wanna join in, Toshiro said. Damn it, at this rate I won't have any other choice, Naruto thinks. Nozomi takes a few steps back. Shut it, they're my prey, Kenpachi says. I do not associate with such vulgar rabble, Byakuya says, facing Rukia and Renji. At this rate, Nozomi says, seeing everyone injured. Izuru stands up weakly. So you can still move. You even suck at dying, Toshiro says, pointing his blade at them, but he's surprised seeing Nozomi flash step in front of them. Nozomi, Naruto yells worriedly. I won't let you hurt them anymore, Nozomi yells, getting ready to fight. What a fucking joke, let me put you out if you're misery, Toshiro yells and fires an ice dragon at Nozomi. But the dragon was absorbed by Nozomi's sword, shocking Toshiro. How about, I add to yours instead? Deluge, Arizone Shigeru, Nozomi yells, swinging her Zanpakuto, firing a pink beam at Toshiro, consuming him. The smoke clears, showing Toshiro very injured. Oh, shit, Toshiro says, falling to the ground. Naruto smiles and deactivates holification. Fascinating. That was even more badass than last time. Looks like I've got still more fun to look forward to, Kenpachi says, smiling. Wait, Byakuya says, stopping Kenpachi. Leave the girl for last. First, we will eliminate the last of the Soul Reaper. That was our arrangement with Kujaroza, Byakuya says. Alright, let's get this over with fast, Kenpachi yells and swings his sword at Naruto, which he blocks. Naruto stands his guard. Naruto starts to yell and begins to push Kenpachi back. What? He's not using holification anymore. Kenpachi thinks and puts more strength into his attack and starts to force Naruto back. Naruto then turns feeling something wrong and sees Byakuya use Bakudo number 61 on Nozomi, restraining her. Nozomi! Naruto yells and Kenpachi sees an opening and slashes Naruto in the back. Naruto looks to see Komomaru's Bankai about to grab her and Yurui grabs her and jumps out of the way. Naruto turns around and swings his blade connecting with Kenpachi's. If the girl's Zanpakuto uses her opponent's power, then I need only fight so as not to give her the opportunity. Getsuga Tensho! Ichigo yells from behind Kenpachi, making him turn, and Ichigo sends a wave of spiritual pressure at Kenpachi which he blocks. Ichigo smiles and his eyes widen. Crap, why now? Ichigo thinks, feeling his power weaken. Nice try. Kenpachi yells, jumping towards Ichigo. Ichigo! Chad yells. Time to die. Kenpachi yells, raising his blade. El Directo! Chad yells, throwing a punch and sending a blast at Kenpachi which he dodges. Ichigo! Your Reiatsus, Chad says and dodges a swing from Kenpachi. Stay out of my way, Kenpachi yells. Nozomi runs to Naruto. Are you okay? Nozomi says worriedly and he nods. Yeah, just a few injuries but I can still fight, Naruto said. Hado number 33 Sukatsui, Byakuya yells, firing a blast at them which they dodge. Byakuya flash steps in front of Ichigo and swings but Naruto blocks it. You're my opponent, Kenpachi yells behind Naruto and swings. Naruto flash steps away. No you don't, Yurui yells, appearing above them and fires arrows at Byakuya. Nozomi runs at Byakuya and swings but he and Kenpachi flash step away and the arrows Ryu fired are heading straight for Nozomi. No, Ryu yells. Nozomi's Zanpakuto is absorbing the arrows. Thank God you're okay, Naruto says next to Nozomi. Ryu lands on the ground. I apologize, Ryu says, not meaning for that to happen. That was nothing, I can absorb plenty more, Nozomi says, and Ryu behind to think. Hey, quit hogging the flash of inspiration, four eyes, Khan yells standing next to them, and they hear someone chucking and they turn. So you still cling to hope? You cannot even die with grace, Byakuya says the last part to Rukia and Renji in front of him. Both charge but are knocked away by Senbon Sakura. Nozomi's ability can absorb not only Reiatsu from Zanpakuto, but also Kido and even arrows from my Ginrei Kojaku. Isn't that right? Ryu says. Yeah, it can absorb anything Reiatsu based, Nozomi says. Ryu explains the plan to them. Are you stupid? What happened if she handle it? Naruto says angrily. I'll do it, Nozomi says, drawing their attention. If it'll help us, I'll do it. Besides, Arzome Shigur has finally started responding to my will. I'll be fine, Nozomi says. But, Naruto is stopped by Nozomi kissing him on the cheek. Don't worry, she says, and Naruri grips his Zanpakuto tightly. This better work, Naruto said. Everyone flash steps to them. Right, everyone, strike Nozomi with your Reiatsu, Ryu says, shocking all of them. What? Rukia said, what's this all about? Renji says, not turning to them. Just do it, Naruto yells at Renji. With all that's going on, I'm not risking making things any worse. And we still don't trust her all the way, either, Iba says, and Izuru flash steps next to him. It's all right, Izuru says, gaining his attention. Izuru? Iba says, not understanding. We've seen the way she fights, Izuru says. Nozomi Kuju has the resolve of a true Soul Reaper, Shuhei says. If you guys say so, I'll take a chase on her. Right, Iba, Rangaku says. Oh, fine then, may as well give it a try, Iba says. The three captains are getting closer. Hit me, Nozomi yells. They all fire a circle around her. Getsuga Tensho, Ichigo yells, unleashing his attack. Kaminari Shiryo, Naruto yells, also unleashing his attack. El Directo, Chad yells, firing a blast. Licked Wind, Ryu yells, firing a lot of arrows. Next Dance, Hakurin, Rukia yells, firing her attack. Renji swings his Zanpakuto, while the other swings their blade, and Nozomi is absorbing all of it. Nozomi yells and fires the attack at all three captains. What? Byakuya says, shocked at this. Komomaru's Bankai is pushed to the ground and Kenpachi is hit by the attack as well. Nozomi is breathing tiredly. Did you get them? Ichigo says, and they all feel a strong spiritual pressure and turn to Kenpachi, getting up smiling. They then feel another spiritual pressure and look up above a tree to see Byakuya protected by a shield. The shield falls apart. They're still alive. Naruto says can't believe that the two Captain Raigai are still alive from that attack. You dare imagine that such lowly technique could defeat me. Hado number 73 Soren Sukatsui, Byakuya yells blasting them all. Ahahaha, I'm not done yet, Kenpachi yells smiling and walking towards them slowly. Now to end it, Byakuya says about to use Bankai. But suddenly flames appear and it attacks Kenpachi and Byakuya consuming them. How can this be? Byakuya says and both he and Kenpachi fall to the ground and the flames go out. Both bodies are still intact so they don't yet, but for now they're knocked out. Holy shit, old man Yamamoto is here, Naruto said not believing what's happening. Yamamoto lands on the go-round and starts walking towards them and stops in front of them. I have heard mention of this one, Yamamoto says. Yes, sir. This is Nozomi Kuju, Rukia said kneeling before the captain commander. Yamamoto turns away from them. I need not its name. It is but a mod soul, Yamamoto says and Nozomi looks away and Naruto gets pissed off. What's wrong with you? Mod souls are living a breathing like us, you can't call them things. They have names. Naruto yells pissed off. Captain Commander, she has been of great help to us. Her Zanpakuto has the power to absorb enemy Reiatsu, and Rukia is cut off by Yamamoto. We need no help from mere mod souls, Yamamoto says pissing Naruto off more. Are you still crying after you got your ass kicked by those other captains? Naruto says referring to the mod souls that fought against Yamamoto. Yamamoto then gives Naruto a glare with some of his spiritual pressure focused on him but Naruto isn't fault wrong. Do you really want to fight me now of all times old man? Naruto says griping his Zanpakuto tightly and starts to release his own spiritual pressure. Hey, old man, so Nozomi's a mod soul. What's it to you? Ichigo says. We shall speak later, Yamamoto says. Please listen to me, Nozomi's one of us, Ichigo is cut off by Yamamoto. I said we shall speak of it later, Yamamoto said and they all see the sky cracking again. Uryu, Chad, get these guys to Orihime, Ichigo days looking at the injured vice captains. Of course, Uryu says. Now, I'm gonna go wild just one more time, Renji says but falls to the ground due to his injuries. Renji, Rukia says worriedly. Rukia, Renji, you guys retreat too, Ichigo said. But then, Renji says weakly. Retreat, broken as you are, you will be but a hindrance, Yamamoto says. Yes sir, Renji says. The sky cracks even more and breaks open showing Raigai Shunsui and Jirshio. So, I face you again, Yamamoto said. Oh, Genryusai sensei, Jashiro said. Wait up, old man Yama again. We have the worst luck ever, Shunsui says. We have no choice, though, Jashiro says. You said it, Shunsui says agreeing. Waves, become my shield. Lightning, become my blade. Sogyo no Kotowari, Jashiro says using Shikai. The flower wind's rage as the flower god roars. The heavenly wind's rage as the demon's laugh. Kaden Kyukatsu, Shunsui says using Shikai. Your firm dies you credit. For importers, that is, Yamamoto says. Thanks, Shunsui says. I am honored to receive your words of praise, Jashiro says. And yet you remain a pair of bothersome brats. Pain will have to be your teacher now, Yamamoto says and his wooden staff becomes a sword. Reduce all creation to ashes. Ryujin Jaka. Yamamoto yells and flames ignite all around them from Yamamoto's Zanpakuto. Naruto Uzumaki and Ichigo Kurosaki, Yamamoto says. Why yeah, Ichigo says. You two and that are to retreat as well, Yamamoto says. I'll fight with you, Ichigo says. Retreat, I make no promises that the flames will not devour you also, Yamamoto says and Naruto chuckles and walks forward drawing their attention. Yamamoto turns to Naruto and his eyes start to widen seeing that Ryujin Jaka's flames are avoiding Naruto. How is that possible? Why isn't Ryujin Jaka not touching the boy? Yamamoto thinks and Naruto stands side by side with Yamamoto. You aren't cutting me out of this fight and besides, if it means I can protect Nozomi, I'll fight with you even if I don't like you, Naruto said and Yamamoto just stares at him. Fine, Yamamoto says. Nozomi grabs the hilt of her sword and jumps towards Shunsui and Jirshio. Nozomi, Naruto yells at her worriedly and the others are surprised. I will be the one to end this, Nozomi says feeing towards them. So we have to fight the little lady. The hard part will be catching her while she's still in one piece, Shunsui said with his hat covering his eyes. Yes, you know what her Zanpakuto's ability is, I trust, Jashiro said looking at Shunsui, both still floating above them in midair. Of course, we can't skip up and let our swords touch hers. Or we can kiss our Reiatsu goodbye, Shunsui says looking at Nozomi's Zanpakuto. Nozomi yells, then swings, and both Shunsui and Jashiro dodge. Naruto flash steps behind Shunsui while Ichigo flash steps behind Jashiro. Nozomi is heading for Shunsui, but Naruto wraps his arms around her, not letting her go. Naruto, let me go, Nozomi yells, but Naruto won't budge. I will protect you, Naruto says glaring at Shunsui. How scary, Shunsui says, and his eyes widen seeing Naruto flash stepped in front of him while still holding Nozomi and swings his Zanpakuto, which Shunsui barely dodges. Will you stop testing me like I'm a scared kitten? If you want to help me, then stop treating me like a kid, Nozomi yells, and Naruto looks down sadly. If I do stop treating you like that, I may lose you forever, Naruto says, and Nozomi looks at Naruto with sympathy. Nozomi hugs Naruto. I'll never leave you, Nozomi says. Ah, that's sweet, now can we get back to the fight, Shunsui says, making them angry, and they let go of each other. We fight together, Naruto says, and she nods. Both charge. Shunsui begins to move fast, countering their attacks, and his cheek gets cut by Naruto's Zanpakuto. Shunsui spins around, making both Naruto and Nozomi jump back and land on the ground. They're standing where Yamamoto's flames are surrounding them. Huh, where did he go? Naruto said, not seeing him in the sky anymore. Both Naruto's and Nozomi's eyes widen, seeing two blades coming from their shadows. One sword coming from both shadows. Both block the Zanpakutos, and Shunsui begins to rise from their shadows. Okay, I did not see that coming. Coming from the shadows, Naruto said, surprised. Exactly, it's called Kujioni, Shunsui says, and both Naruto and Nozomi jump in the sky. You two caught on fast. No shadows for you two, no Kujioni for me. Thing is, Kaden Kyukatsu knows plenty of other games. For example, Shunsui says, and flash steps above them. Whoever stands highest gets stronger. Takoni, Shunsui says, hitting both of his swords against theirs but did nothing. But I guess I didn't get to play that one right now. If we cross blades, after all, you'll steal my Reiatsu, Shunsui says, and throws a kick, hitting Nozomi, sending her to the ground, and Naruto flash steps behind her and catches her, and both hit the ground, making a big dust cloud. Oops, that might have been overkill, Shunsui says, and the dust clears, showing Naruto's back in a crater and Nozomi on top of him. Nozomi gets off of Naruto, but he doesn't get up. Damn, that hurt. How long have I been fighting? Naruto says, and gets up weakly. Oh, good, if I got you hurt, I'd never hear the end of it afterwards, Shunsui says, smiling. Irony, black, Shunsui says, and appears in front of Nozomi and slashes her, but Naruto intercepts it, getting slashed instead. Naruto spits out blood and falls to one knee. They hear Ichigo yell Bankai, and Shunsui turns, seeing Ichigo chafing up a black Getsuga Tensho. Getsuga Tenshou. Ichigo yells, swings his blade, but Jashiro flash steps in front of the attack and absorbs it with his Shiki. He points his other Zanpakuto at Naruto, then fires, and the blast consumes him. When you fight, you really should try to understand what your opponent is capable of. Otherwise you'll waste an attack after all that effort to set it up, Jashiro says, turning to a tired Naruto who dodged the attack, Ichigo and Nozomi. Naruto's eyes widen, feeling Yamamoto's Ryujin Jaka unleash his flames upon Raigai Unohana, breaking through the seal on him. Naruto, Ichigo, Nozomi. Kan yells, seeing the flames coming towards them. Naruto grabs Nozomi and Ichigo and flash steps away. Yo dumbass, you didn't help us fight at all, Naruto yells, but the captain ignores him. Was he planning on wiping Nozomi out? Naruto thinks angrily, looking at the head captain. Getting rid of me is one sure way of foiling Kujaroza's plans, Nozomi says. But that's, Naruto says, looking at Yamamoto angrily. However, I'm not going to die, Nozomi says. I hear ya, Ichigo says, with his arms still wrapped around Nozomi, earning a glare from Naruto. How long do you plan to keep groping me? I'm fine, Nozomi says, glaring at Ichigo. My bad, Ichigo says, apologizing and taking his hand away. Naruto flash steps next to Yamamoto. I've hit an idea, but follow it, Naruto says, and Yamamoto just stares at Naruto. After the plan. Very well, Yamamoto says, and Naruto nods and flat steps away. Shunsui and Jashiro flash step in front of Yamamoto. Well, old man Yama, I wasn't expecting that to happen, Shunsui says smiling. Let me show you brats not to anger me, Yamamoto says and swings Ryujin Jaka sending a massive blast of fire at Shunsui. Jirshio flash steps in front of Shunsui and absorbs the fire with his Zanpakuto and about to fire when Naruto flash steps in front of him and grabs his Zanpakuto pushing it to the side and it is now aiming at Shunsui making his eyes widen. Crap, Shunsui thinks. Oh no, Jirshio thinks and his attack was unleashed engulfing Shunsui. After the attack Naruto still isn't letting go and a hollow mask forms on his face. Naruto elbows Jirshio Yukitake in the stomach and makes him stumble back. Ukitake's eyes queen and turns to see Yamamoto with Ryujin Jaka ready. Kaminari Shiryo. Naruto yells sending a black lightning wave at Jirshio while Yamamoto sends a wave of blazing fire at Jirshio making a huge lightning flame explosion. Naruto and Yamamoto are watching the flames to see Unohana walking out of it along with two injured Captain Raigai. Kenpachi and Byakuya. Byakuya grabs the two kids' souls on the ground and puts them in his pocket to give to Kujaroza so he can create new bodies for Jirshio and Shunsui. Though you be a importer, truly you wield the power of my students. Else you would have fallen after what just transpired, Yamamoto said and all three charge. That will suffice, someone yells stopping all three of them. I thank you die your efforts, lady and gentlemen. Please it's so back now, he says and all three move out of the way, they then flash step away. The rest is for me to deal with, Kujaroza says entering through the flames shocking them all except Yamamoto. Kujaroza Inaba, Yamamoto says and they're facing face to face. You live up to your reputation, General Yamamoto. Even with the power of several captains combined, you are too powerful to hold and I regret to inform you this has all gone according to plan, Kujaroza says and turns to Nozomi which Naruto flash steps next to her. I will obtain Nozomi with my own hands, and enact the fulfillment of my wish, Kujaroza says getting ready to fight he flash steps in front of Yamsnoto and swings his Zanpakuto which Yamamoto dodges. Yamamoto swings his Zanpakuto but Kujaroza flash steps away into the sky and Yamamoto jumps after him and swings his blade again which Kujaroza flash steps away. Naruto, Nozomi and Ichigo flash step next to Yamamoto. Old man, watch out when you face him. His Zanpakuto's ability is quite dangerous, Naruto said and Yamamoto turns to him. Who do you think you're speaking to, whelp? Yamamoto said. I'm speaking to an elderly old man who seems to not know what the fuck he's doing, Naruto says which earns a glare from Yamamoto. I already know of his ability, Yamamoto says and Naruto blinks and rubs the back of his head sheepishly. Oh, hey, sorry about what I said. I tabs it back but not the elderly part. You're still an old man, but that's not the point, Naruto says turning back to Kujaroza. It would be dire indeed if he duplicated my skills, Yamamoto says. So what's the plan? Ichigo said. All we need do is attack without giving him the opportunity, Yamamoto said. See, that's what I'm saying, Naruto said getting ready to think of a plan. Use me as bait, Nozomi says drawing their attention. Are you serious? Naruto yells at her. Do it, it's all I can do, Nozomi says. But, Naruto is stopped by Nozomi kissing him on the lips and she puts her left hand to his cheek. Yamamoto is quite surprised seeing this kind of affection the mod soul is showing to Naruto. I'll be fine, Nozomi says and Naruto sighs then Nozomi smiles. Fine, Naruto says. Hey, old man, Ichigo said looking at Yamamoto. Very well, Yamamoto says surprising them. Nozomi moves close to Yamamoto and uncount to Kujaroza. Nozomi is absorbing some of Ryujin Kaka's flames. Nozomi changes at Kujaroza. Nozomi swings and Kujaroza flash steps right next to her. Do you intend to cross blades with me and absorb my Reiatsu? Regrettably, I have no intention of falling for your stratagem, Kujaroza says and begins dishing her attacks easily. Nozomi begins yelling him ding her Zanpakuto to the side and glows bright pink shocking Kujaroza. When did you have time? Kujaroza says and remembers the closeness Yamamoto and she were. But it is still not enough. Kujaroza yells spinning his Zanpakuto and disappears from the wave Nozomi sends. He then appears behind her. I told you it was a wasted effort. Kujaroza yells and his eyes widen all the way because Yamamoto is in front of him. Kujaroza turns to him with sweat coming down his face. Yamamoto yells and slashes at Kujaroza who spins his Zanpakuto. Negate. Kujaroza yells and the flames are being held back. Kujaroza's eyes widen and turns to see Naruto and Ichigo wearing hollow masks. We're putting all our Reiatsu in this, Ichigo and Naruto says at the same time. Substitutes Soul Reapers, Kujaroza yells. Getsuga Tensho, Kaminari Shuryo. Naruto and Ichigo yell swinging their Zanpakuto sending a wave that fuses together surprising Ichigo and Naruto. The attack hits creating a huge explosion. Naruto and Ichigo's masks break apart and both are breathing tiredly. Did we get him? Ichigo said and starts to fall from the sky. Ichigo, Naruto yells standing text to Nozomi. He's about to catch him when the smoke disperses. Showing Kujaroza still alive but creating tiredly. That was disturbingly close, Kujaroza says and Yamamoto's left eye widens all the way and both Naruto and Nozomi are shocked. My predictive powers were superior to yours. Ryujin Jaka's power is indeed to be feared. But I duplicated Nozomi's Zanpakuto's power at the earliest opportunity. I then used it to absorb your attacks, Kujaroza says and sticks his Zanpakuto in the air which blue electricity comes from the blades on the end of the Zanpakuto. Now, Raikou is endowed with the power of all three head captain Yamamoto's Ryujin Jaka and the substitute's attacks. Even the dressed head captain should not walk away unharmed from a blow of this magnitude. Ahahahaha. The time has come. With this, it all ends, Kujaroza yells and spins his Zanpakuto unleashing a humongous blast at them. Naruto puts a hand to his face. I need to use holofication too, Naruto thinks and creates the mask. He starts to focus his Reiatsu into his Zanpakuto like Yamamoto is doing as well. Nozomi suddenly flash steps in front of them. The girl, Yamamoto said surprised seeing her. Nozomi, Naruto yells not wanting her to get hurt. It can't be, Kujaroza says shocked she would do this. The blast hits Nozomi's Zanpakuto and it begins to be absorbed. She can't handle all that Reiatsu. She'll be killed by it. Naruto yells and starts to see the Zanpakuto crack under too much pressure. Stop, you cannot do this, Kujaroza yells not being able to stop the attack. Could it be trying to protect us? Yamamoto says and Nozomi's Zanpakuto cracks more. You cannot absorb any more. Flee, Nozomi, Kujaroza yells not wanting her to be killed and still needing her for his plan. Nozomi's Zanpakuto cracks even more on the verge of breaking. Please stop, you will perish, Kujaroza yells and Yamamoto finally realizes what will happen to her. Nozomi's Zanpakuto breaks. Stand aside, Yamamoto yells covering the girl as well as Naruto and releases a great amount of spiritual pressure. Both begin to overpower Kujaroza's attack greatly making a giant explosion. Kujaroza, Naruto, Yamamoto and Nozomi hit the ground. Head captain, Rukia yells running to him. Old dude, Kon yells right behind Rukia. Yamamoto is on the ground injured and bends down to him. Please hold on, head captain, Rukia says and Kon looks up seeing Nozomi falling. No Nozomi, Kon yells and before Nozomi hits the ground Naruto shunpos under her and catching her in his arms. Half of his hollow mask is broken and now the mask falls to pieces. Thank goodness you're okay, Naruto says smiling and Nozomi smiles back and both remember the head captain. Naruto lets down Nozomi and both run to him along with Kon. Why? Nozomi says looking straight at Yamamoto. Why what? Yamamoto said looking up at her. Why would you protect a mod soul? Nozomi says questionably. Make no mistake, half-wit child. You are a good millennium too young to be trying to defend me. Besides, for all this talk of mod souls, you are but a little girl, Yamamoto says and Naruto smiles. Naruto then stops and falls to his knees drawing everyone's attention and the falls to the ground also deactivating Bankai. Naruto, Nozomi says worriedly and lays his head on her lap. It's okay, I just overused my power. Give me some time and I'll be able to fight again, Naruto said and Yamamoto then collapses. Head captain, Rukia yells. Naruto looks up angrily seeing Kujaroza getting back up. He can still fight after that, Naruto says she sees Ichigo standing up. Kujaroza then gets up weakly. He just doesn't know when to stop. Kon says, Nozomi. You are unharmed. Splendid, Kujaroza says smiling. Kujaroza then walks close to Nozomi. You have no chance, Nozomi. You cannot fight with a Zanpakuto like that, Kujaroza says and Naruto starts to get up weakly but falls to his knees. Damn it, I can't get up, Naruto thinks angrily. Renji and Ichigo flash step in front of them. Substitute Soul Reaper, why must you always stabs in my way, Kujaroza says annoyed and points his Zanpakuto at them. Nozomi dies Mr. Want to go with you. So I'll make sure she doesn't. That's all there is to it. Ichigo yells at Kujaroza. She does not want to go with me. Why ever not? How can you say such things? Kujaroza says, and Naruto narrows his eyes at Kujaroza but then falls to the ground and can't get up. You what? Ichigo says, not understanding what he means. Are you high or something? There's no way she'd ever want to go with you. Kan yells and Kujaroza laughs a little. This concerns the one who created Nozomi. Her father. You might say. I shall complete his research, Kujaroza says. Complete it? Ichigo says. You mean that whole thing about ruling soul society in the human world? You think that crap'll make Nozomi happy? Kan says. Why not? I am happy. Thus, surely Nozomi must also be happy, Kujaroza says, kissing Naruto off more. You're one twisted son of a bitch, Kan yells. Nozomi is nothing like you, Naruto says. Ehehehahahaha. Kujaroza laughs in his sleeve. I do beg your pardon. Ahahahaha. Kujaroza says. What's so funny? Ichigo says angrily. You speak almost as if you thought you could understand Nozomi. Ahahahaha. Unfortunately for you, it is I alone who truly understands her, Kujaroza says. What? Kan yells and turns to Nozomi, who looks away sadly. Ahahahaha. Kujaroza laughs at the display. What are you talking about? Ichigo said. It is simplicity itself. Nozomi and I were originally born from the same Soul Reaper's spirit particles. Ahahahaha. Kujaroza says, and Nozomi looks even more saddened. I don't care. Naruto says and punches the ground and starts to get up. I don't care what she is. I'm in love with her and nothing will ever change that. Naruto yells and Kujaroza stares at him with distaste while Nozomi is looking at Naruto with shock. Naruto then charges at Kujaroza, who friend and easily whacks Raijin out of Naruto's hands and raises his sword. Please don't. Nozomi yells, not wanting to see Naruto die in front of her. But it's already too late and Kujaroza slashes Naruto's chest, making him fall to his knees, and Nozomi falls to her knees with tears in her eyes. Naruto looks and sees the tears. Kujaroza raises his Zanpakuto again. It seems she finally remember. Ahahahaha. Kujaroza says, swings down. Everything starts to appear in slow motion. Naruto hears crying, but it's not from Nozomi. It's coming from the two Zanpakutos. Nozomi's and Kujaroza's. Time speeds up. You feel alone, don't you? Naruto said, and before the Zanpakuto makes contact it stops on its own, shocking Kujaroza. What the? Kagetoza says and lifts again and swings down, but before it can touch Naruto it stops. I hear you're crying and I know what it feels like being alone. After my mother died, I felt alone, and after my father died I felt all alone, but I was wrong. My friends and my Zanpakuto make me feel like I'm never alone. Don't worry, I'll help you to someday, and that's a promise, Naruto says and falls to the ground, passed out. What did he do to my Zanpakuto? Why won't it hit him? Kujaroza thinks. Time skip. Naruto's eyes open and looks around to see he's in Urahara's shop. Naruto sees Urahara and the others. Hey, where's Nozomi? Naruto says, looking around but doesn't see her or feel or Reiatsu. They look down sadly and Naruto's eyes widen. I'm sorry, but Kujaroza has her. It was all my fault. I couldn't protect her, Ichigo says, and Naruto eyes widen all the way. No, this can't be. It can't. I promised I would always protect her. Nozomi. Naruto yells with tears falling from his eyes. Mindscape. The one he loves has been kidnapped, Raijin says, liking at hollow Naruto staring at the storm. I already know. I feel his heart in pain. We must help protect Nozomi. She is the queen to our king, hollow Naruto says. Thanks for watching. If you want longer episodes of this series, be sure to let me know in comments. Also, for gaming related what ifs, be sure to check out my other channel, link will be in the description.